What's going on, everybody? This is Sergey from MMA Soap Opera, and today I would like to talk about this past weekend's UFC 314, which was of course headlined by none other than Alex Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. But apart from Volk and Diego Lopez, I would also like to discuss the two other fighters that were the standouts for me in this event. That is, of course, Paddy Pimblett and Jean Silva, and especially Jean Silva, because my perception of him changed a little bit in the past couple of days. But before we jump into this, guys, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. We're talking about UFC, MMA, all the drama that is happening in the background, so make sure to join the ride. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. Alright, let's actually start with Jean Silva. So of course Jean Silva and Bryce Mitchell had this a little nasty build up to this fight. Of course Jean Silva, he basically offered to be the one who's gonna punish Bryce Mitchell for the BS that he was talking, and he sort of managed to do, because of course in the fight he was super dominant. Even though that Bryce Mitchell was doing pretty damn well, you could tell just by the way those two fighters were moving that Jean Silva is super comfortable, he has everything under control, and he basically, like everybody's saying, defeated Bryce Mitchell in his own game. What I want to talk about is something else. It's actually his behavior, all this barking, you know, and grabbing fence and yelling like this. The man seems to be completely out of his goddamn mind, and I stumbled across this video. I'm gonna put it over here. He basically did a little research on Jean Silva, and as I was watching the video, I was watching the video because myself, I was doing research on Jean Silva, so he basically made the job a little bit easier for me. But basically, I got to learn about the reasonings behind why Jean Silva is behaving the way he is. Apparently, Jean Silva had a bit of a tragic background. Turns out that his brother died, and apart from his brother dying, he also got to experience something incredibly disturbing. Apparently, he got to see his mom being raped by 3 men in front of his own eyes, which in on itself is insane thing. But not only that, but also what ended up happening was that mother ended up killing the 3 guys, and now she's in jail for it. So yeah, when I was watching this particular fight, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was telling her that every time he's going out to have a fight, he's crying either right before the fight or right after the fight. And like, knowing this context, of course, explains the situation, because, you know, if he wants to talk to his mother, he needs to go to prison, to talk to her in prison. And especially thinking about all that happened in his life, this barking is basically his way to maintain this playful nature and basically do this silly thing that him and his brother were doing when they were kids. That's how I understood it, at least. If I understood it incorrectly, make sure to let me know in the comment section. But yeah, every time Jean Silva is talking to a camera, he's basically talking to his mother, and the reason why he's crying is because of this anxiety and the broken heart that he has. So another thing that stuck out to me in the story is that turns out that it's Mauricio Ruffi who got him out of it, because he started inviting him to his place to play some video games and apparently talk about Jesus. Yeah, I feel like I have this completely different level of compassion for him right now, and I'm definitely gonna take all this context in consideration every time I'm gonna see him in the upcoming fights. Now, I don't necessarily agree that he should fight for the belt next. I think that it's way too early, because this was his first win in top 15, but I wouldn't be surprised if he frog leaped quite a bunch of fighters and got a fight, I don't know, maybe against Aljamain Sterling, or basically someone between the number 5 and number 10. So yeah, Jean Silva, damn, what a crazy personality, what a crazy story, and what an insanely talented fighter. Just like the rest of the crew in Fighting Nerds, like those guys are killing it these days. So yeah, massive congratulations to Jean Silva for his biggest win in his career, and I'm really looking forward to what is next for him, because if he can actually make a massive career for himself, possibly he would be able to provide for his mother, you know, if she would ever get out of the prison. Alright, then Paddy Pimblett. So this guy is incredible. I feel like he definitely managed to redeem himself from that debacle that happened with Ariel Helwani, because obviously he didn't manage that situation very well. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but I feel like he's been doing much better job at keeping his personality a little bit at bay. Very clearly he put more focus into training, because obviously Paddy Pimblett, he's getting much better from fight to fight. I feel like he's doing a really good job at navigating the stardom as well. And I had this thought the other day that I feel like UFC learned their lesson with Sugar Sean O'Malley, and instead of just pushing Paddy Pimblett to fight for the belt as soon as possible, they're actually slowly building him up. And I think that that is very smart, and I really like that they are doing this, because yeah, now Paddy Pimblett has a proper win in top 10, and I feel like he's like maybe 2 fights away from fighting for the belt, which in my opinion is appropriate. So yeah, incredible performance against Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler looked flat. I really don't understand what happened to his cardio. Like usually he's the one who's being able to push through till the very end of the 5th round, and in here, like, I feel like after first round he was basically done. But yeah, Paddy Pimblett dominated him, he finished him, which is something that no other managed to do before that. And if you think about the roster of fighters who fought Michael Chandler before that, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, none of them were able to finish him this way. And I wonder if the fact that Molly McCann is out of UFC now, I wonder if that affected his like approach to his career in UFC from now on, because I feel like he got a little bit more serious. In the beginning, when it was this dynamic duo between Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann, I felt like, I know it's gonna sound stupid, but I feel like they had a little bit too much fun, if you know what I mean. But yeah, now Paddy Pimblett seems to be really focused on the target. He really wants to fight for the belt. I don't think that is gonna happen right away. He didn't even mention Islam Makhachev, but he does want to fight Charles Oliveira, and I think that that is super exciting fight. I even think that the fight against Arman Tsarukyan would be an absolute fire. Or why just not use the opportunity and book him against Ilia Topuria? That would be insane. I would love to see that one. Anyways, once again, massive congratulations to Paddy Pimblett. The man of the hour, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. What a man, what a fighter, what a personality, what a likable guy. Listen, when this fight was booked, I feel like I was one of the very few who said that Alexander Volkanovski has actually a massive chance to win this fight. A lot of people were of course saying, well, he just got knocked out twice and Diego Lopez has an insane power. I just feel like a lot of people were underestimating the fact that he took that 1-year break. He actually took time to recover properly. And then of course, like, the difference in the experience that these two fighters have is night and day. I was definitely rooting for Alexander Volkanovski, not because I have some sort of dislike for Diego Lopez. I think that Diego Lopez has a big chance of becoming a UFC champion in future. But yeah, I was rooting for Alexander Volkanovski because I just really wanted to see that hero arc develop even further, you know, and like Diego Lopez is really young. He's gonna have his opportunities again in the future. So yeah, I'm super happy for Alexander Volkanovski. Too bad that he's not gonna fight Ilia Topuria, or good for him, depending how you're gonna look at it. But I really admire this attitude that he has, that he wants to fight as soon as possible, that he's not saying no to any opponents. He's been talking about Movsar Evloev and wanted to fight him basically directly after. And like, there's nothing else you could want from a champ like Alexander Volkanovski. He's the prototype of the perfect champion. Not saying no to anything, wanted to be active, daring to be great. Alexander the Great Volkanovski. But yeah, man, apart from Movsar Evloev, we also have Yair Rodriguez in the division. He's knocking on the door, fighting for the belt once again. And then we have Jean Silva. If Jean Silva fights maybe 2 times this year and wins both fights, I think he's gonna be right there as well. And let me tell you something, Alexander Volkanovski versus Jean Silva would be absolutely insane fight. Insane. If I would disregard the rankings and all that kind of stuff, I would book that fight. That's the fight that I want to see. But yeah, man, massive congratulations to Alexander Volkanovski. What an insanely inspiring journey that he's having. I'm really happy for him. 2 times featherweight champ. And yeah, man, who knows how many times he's gonna be able to defend the belt, because I feel like Movsar Evloev at the moment is the biggest threat for him. Then Yair Rodriguez, well, he already defeated Yair Rodriguez, and I can't really tell that I've seen something completely new from Yair. Like, he got defeated fairly soundly the first time they fought. So yeah, we'll see what is going to happen. But yeah, those are my thoughts on these couple of fighters from the UFC 314. Overall, the card was very good. Very good. I would rate it maybe like, I don't know, 8.5 out of 10, something like that. Some proper bangers. By the way, Dominic Reyes, a first round knockout. Are you kidding me? Great stuff. I would actually love to see him rematch Jiří Procházka next. But yeah, man, what do you think about the Jean Silva situation, about Paddy Pimblett, and of course Alexander Volkanovski? I'm really curious to know. And what do you think about UFC 314? Let me know in the comment section down below. While you're gonna be there, if you didn't do it before, once again, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell, all that shebang. Listen, I have to say it a couple of times during the video, otherwise YouTube is not gonna push the video that much. But yeah, this is it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day. See you in the next video.